Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. A former Ripple employee says that big news is mere days away, having specifically to do with XRP. It's kind of vague, it's a little bit cryptic, but this ex-Ripple employee says, and I quote, XRP is going to explode, end quote. So, yes, you better believe I'm going to highlight this, because if something actually happens, and I didn't talk about this prior, I'd feel a little bit silly, because this is an XRP-centric channel. So we'll see to what degree this is serious, and even if there is a big move, is XRP going to move sooner than later, or are we just going to see, does he mean we're going to see a massive explosion once the market gets hot? There's a lot of ways that you can interpret this, but it's fascinating because for whatever reason, in recent days, this particular former Ripple employee has been saying stuff along these lines. I've reported it in a couple different videos over, I don't know, say the last week or so. And it was somewhat unexpected because, you know, this guy, he made it clear that he's under a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't be too specific. Okay, fair enough. But it's also fascinating that despite the fact that this ex-Ripple employee, who was let go because the company did downsize, not because there was some sort of horrific falling out necessarily, not that I'm aware of. He says it was basically just a downsizing type of thing for a particular a department, if you will, within Ripple on a global scale. Despite that being the case, he's still very positive specifically about both Ripple and XRP. So no sour grapes here, apparently. He's still clearly a bull on both. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. This piece reads as follows. A former Ripple director has recently teased upcoming exciting developments for the XRP ecosystem, charging the community to expect, quote-unquote, big news soon. And I want to set the table a little bit because I'm sure that many of you have seen this by now, but if not, it is absolutely worth repeating. There is a post, and this is the one that first caught the attention of the XRP community, including crypto media, frankly. This is from January 29th, and I reported this once this happened because there was a post where the ex-Ripple employee in question, his name is Sean McBride, was saying things, frankly, along these lines even back then, just a little over a week ago. But he noted he was under a non-disclosure agreement. And so after publicly stating, hey, the recruiting team, which he was a part of, he was laid off, there's big downsizing on a global scale, he then said the following. And he deleted this too, which is interesting. I don't know what the rationale is for that, but he deleted this post, but not the rest of the stuff I'm about to show you. And he said, what I can tell you is Ripple and XRP aren't going anywhere. Everyone should be excited for the future of both. I really can't say more, NDA, which of course is, again, non-disclosure agreement. But that's not the only post. There's been several posts. Here we have January 30th, Sean McBride wrote the following. Some people just don't understand the amount of money invested in crypto outside of the US, especially in Southeast Asia and United Arab Emirates, where they are so much further ahead in terms of institutional adoption and government regulation / framework. Those that serve a specific purpose or purposes and, i.e. XRP, are already being adopted and utilized successfully. By next year, every bank in Japan will be using XRP for cross-border payments alone. Oh, and in case you were wondering, Japan has the third largest economy in the world. And so that type of comment apparently not included under his non-disclosure agreement, but it does make me wonder what the heck else does he know that he can't share with us. And so given the nature of the NDA, which of course Ripple is known to do, I don't blame him one bit for trying to make sure he doesn't go too far out of bounds, but I am surprised he's saying much of anything, to be honest with you. So that brings us back to the article from today, which continues as follows. This teaser came from Sean McBride, a talent acquisition leader who served as Ripple's Director of Global Talent Acquisition for 2 years from August 2021 to July 2023. McBride took to X last night to prepare the XRP community for what he regards as a big development. And so here's the post from him last night. Quote, Big news coming from Ripple and XRP in the next couple days. End quote. So I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you, because he's no longer with Ripple. He's under an NDA. And how would he know timing of anything relevant to XRP and or Ripple this precise, given that he's no longer there? Presumably the answer would be, and this is only speculation, of course, any contacts he still has there. But still, that leaves me wondering, why is he even talking about this? Like, I'm happy to hear it. Like, I'm endlessly curious. I know you guys are too. Like, yeah, if you've got something that you're willing to say publicly, whatever it is, even if it's a little vague like this, bring it. Like, I want to know, what's the perspective here? But I'd be surprised if he's just making this up out of nowhere. So we'll see if something unfolds here. And there's more, though, so check this out. Piece continues. While some proponents expressed excitement in anticipation of the unknown development, others showed less enthusiasm, citing a pattern of previous disclosures that turned out disappointing with no visible positive impacts on the ecosystem. One internet personality mockingly questioned if the upcoming development involved an announcement from a major company about using a Ripple product and then not actually following through with the move. Okay, and as far as what they're saying here in this article about being disappointed in terms of, no visible positive impact, this or that, they're not talking about what Sean McBride is saying. They're talking about other developments. In fact, they cite a couple. I don't need to read the whole article, but they highlight Western Union's pilot with Ripple from years ago. And, Western Union didn't move forward with that. And I've talked about that a number of times over the years. That's frankly not surprising. They'd be, with their efficient treasuries, and, they've got money all over. They'd be about the last firm that would be interested in changing their business model, because it's their smaller competitors that have to tap into the liquidity of large banks and have to pay for that, frequently high fees. Those smaller firms, remittance firms and banks, they'd be the most likely to jump on board, but the largest incumbents, they'd be the last to jump on board. So whether you're talking about Western Union or a major bank like Citi, for example. Ashish Perla, former Ripple employee who's on the board still, I believe, at Ripple, he talked about that years ago, how they had to find the sweet spot effectively for, like, what's the right size customer for Ripple, and the answer is not the largest banks out there, because again, they're making money from the smaller competitors rather. So that's not surprising that Western Union didn't move forward. And then they also cite MoneyGram, but that was a successful relationship between MoneyGram and Ripple until the SEC came along, and then that rendered the relationship impossible. So it was amicable, but both Ripple and MoneyGram were like, well, we can't do anything now. So they just agreed to part ways, which is unfortunate to see that the SEC just shredded that. That was rather disappointing. But again, so like stuff happens, but it's not like there's something wrong specifically with Ripple or XRP as a result. Like, that's not what that indicates here. But there was an additional comment from Sean McBride. And he said the following. Yeah, all you non-Ripple shareholders can shut the F up, and he wrote STFU, but that's what that stands for, because, yes, big news is coming, already has come, and XRP is going to explode. So piss off if you don't have anything positive to say. So he's getting a little spicy there, but he insists that there is something big. It's coming. So it's on the record. I've shared it on my channel. We'll see if something comes to pass. But I will say, when it comes to Ripple specifically, if this is some sort of Ripple-related news, historically, whatever Ripple announces does not sway the price of XRP whatsoever. Historically, the SEC has done a way better job messing with the price of XRP on a global scale than Ripple ever has. Because when the SEC sued, price go down. When the SEC lost, price went up. So the SEC, them mucking about and all this, yes, that had an impact. But Ripple announcing all sorts of endless positive news for the span of a decade doesn't seem to matter. Not in the moment, at least. Certainly not in the moment. But he insists something indeed is coming. And then there was also this post in response, because again, Sean McBride, the post, he said, big news coming from Ripple and XRP in the next couple days. And again, this is after he noted he's under an NDA. Weitse Wen, founder of XRPL Labs, wrote to him the following. And he said, must be quite the news if it is worth entering insider trading territory. So I don't know if what Sean McBride stated there would go so far as to say that. And I literally mean that, because I'm not a lawyer. But it is, I will say, it is fascinating he's saying anything at all, given he pointed out in his own, there is an NDA, and he can't say much, but he's super positive about XRP. So who knows? Maybe we wake up tomorrow and there's some sort of massive news and everybody's thrilled and XRP price goes up, but I'm not going to hold my breath on any Ripple-related news moving the price of XRP to the upside, because that doesn't happen. Like, pretty much never. You know, the closest we got to that I can recall in my 6+ years as an XRP holder is when there was a buy the rumor, sell the news thing back in 2018. There was a rumor that Ripple was going to launch XRapid, which then became known as on-demand liquidity, which has since been rebranded as Ripple Payments. But when XRapid was about to get approved, there was a rumor it was going to happen, and the rumor ended up being true. So whether it's because the timing just worked out that way, and because of coincidence, or because somebody actually leaked some sort of specifics, I don't pretend to know for sure. But the rumor did end up coming to pass in a very short time frame. And so as a result of the rumor, the price of XRP ticked up dramatically. I'd have to look at a chart to what it was. Maybe it was like 4 weeks leading up to it, 2 weeks. I can't remember. I'd have to look. But then when that news broke October of 2018, price went down. XRapid's live. Hey, great. Price went down. It was a sell the news event. That's the closest I've seen to Ripple having any sort of notable impact in terms of XRP price action. And it was a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. So if there's something out of nowhere, okay, in theory, I just haven't really, I can't think of a single example of where that's been the case, where XRP is like popped to the upside when there's some sort of unexpected positive news about Ripple specifically. I'm not saying it's impossible. I can't think of a single instance of that ever happening, but I'd love to see it. But either way, I'll say this, and before wrapping up here, even if it's not something that's going to cause the XRP price to rise, in terms of this level of adoption and what Sean McBride was saying about every bank in Japan using XRP as a bridge currency by the end of, I think what he said, next year, whatever it was, like, these use cases matter in terms of the long-term viability. So even if it doesn't cause a pop instantly that you can see on a chart and see the timing line up like that, okay, but I still believe firmly that utility matters and will win the day. We need to see more developers having more success building out various projects with XRP being positioned and functionally useful here. And XRP has a genuine use case as a bridge currency, as Ripple has positioned it. So it's still meaningful, even if you can't see instantly a price go up, but I think that more and more people are going to factor in the importance of that utility as time passes, and as there's additional adoption with other developers. So it all matters in the end, even if you can't in that moment see a pop. So let me know what you guys think here. We'll see what happens, but I'm sorry guys, I couldn't ignore it. Like, this is a former Ripple employee, a director, who says he has an NDA, but then he's still saying stuff. Gotta cover it, man. So you guys just tell me what you think. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.